hello. Oh, let's see if my volume is working. Yes, it is. Uh-oh, I forgot something. Oops. Is that better? Right? You can hear me now, I think. Sorry. Okay, turn that down so I can see comments there. Hi, everybody. Hopefully we'll get a few people joining live. Let me know where you're from. And that would be pretty interesting to see where everybody's from that's going to join me today. I'm going to be making some jelly printing live. I know a lot of people have questions about how long to do this and how long to do that. So I thought it would just be nice to just do one live for a change instead of all of my sped up reels that I post all the time. So this way you can see how I actually make them. And I'm going to spend an hour and I'm going to see how many I can make. I'm thinking I can probably do at least 5, hopefully. So there's different tricks about how you can get jelly printing done quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, if you pop on, just say hello, and let's flip that camera around. There we go. Okay. So hopefully I can stay on top of any comments. Be sure to ask any questions as I'm going. I'm happy to answer questions. I just sometimes have a hard time seeing them when I'm actually doing the live. So I've got my jelly plate here. This is Gelli Arts, I believe. So I've got that ready. I've got a piece of paper on the side for rolling off my brayer. I've got some paper ready to print on, and I've got a bunch of stuff all around that I can use. So if you've been watching any of my recent posts, I've been using these 3D printed clay rollers, and they've been making some fabulous prints. I also have this. So this is new. I'm going to try this out. Maybe we'll do that second. I'll do something that I know will work. I think this will work, but anyway, it's just a lint roller and I've put some string on it. So I'm going to use that. I've got some fun trim I've made a print with before. This is feather. It's not really feathers. It's just some sort of trim I picked up at a fabric store. I've got some other things sitting here. Bubble wrap, some weird shaped cardboard. So let's get started. I'm not really sure what I want to do first, so let's just pick some colors. One thing that I will say, the simpler you keep it, the easier and faster it goes. So definitely if you're just starting out, you might want to keep it fairly simple. I am going to make it a little bit more complicated by adding a second color here. So I will put, whoops, a green and a turquoise down here. And then because I'm putting them directly on the plate, they are not really going to mix, right? So if I go like this a little bit, that will mix them up a little bit more so I don't have like full-on blobs. But the blobs aren't really necessarily a big deal because if you're going to print on it anyway, if you're picking up some of it, I've got a hair there. Oh, it's actually on my brayer. Sorry, if you're picking up a lot of the paint, then you're not even going to notice those blobs anyway. So it just depends on what print you're doing. Just trying to get that even. It's fairly thin, so you can kind of see through it already. Take the extra paint off of my brayer and then remember to flip it over. I've done it before, forgot to flip it over. Big mistake. So I think I'm going to start with these. I don't know, these were from some packaging that I got between plates or something. I don't know, like kitchen dishes or something. So letting it sit a bit. So because even though my paint is thin, it does pick it up okay, but if you let it dry a little bit, it will pick it up a little bit cleaner. but that's not bad. So I'm just going to keep putting these down and just kind of make a little pattern here. So I don't need to leave it too long. It's starting to dry. So just trying to get all of the little spots in between. Go like that. So just making a pattern here. Not too worried about it. I get asked a lot of questions. Oh, hey, Rebecca, thanks for joining in. I get a lot of questions. What do you do with your prints? Basically, I use them for background papers for my crafting, junk journal, scrapbooking, that kind of thing. And apparently, oh, I see Marie there from Western New York. That's pretty cool, Marie. How's your weather there? And then, sorry, I'm just going to use this real quick. It's because it's thin, it's fairly dry, but I use this. It's on the cool setting, so there's no heat coming out of it, and it just need a minute. Not even a minute. I just need a few seconds to make sure that this is dry. There we go, because if I put wet on here, it will start to move it. So you want it to be dry before you put the other paint on it. And see, it's dry. It's not, this is from when I was making that. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go ahead and put a metallic on here. So I love using metallics on my prints. I think it just adds something pretty cool to it. So I just got to decide which one. I've got 3 pulled out. I think the copper. The bronze is new. I don't even think I've used it yet. So maybe I will use it. I'll try this copper and the bronze, and let's see how that looks with the green. It should look good. So again, the thickness is going to really impact the drying time. So I do find the metallics do go very thin anyway. So they don't tend to take very long to dry, but you got to be kind of quick because they do dry faster. So I'm just trying to make sure I have all of my edges covered here. You can really see some of that print underneath, which is fine because I'm going to use some printed paper anyway. So I have some sheet music. I picked up some books of sheet music at thrift stores. They don't always sell that great, so they're quite inexpensive. They're discounted a lot, even though they're already at a thrift store. But they tend to be easy to find, and they're just fun. So it may show up through it, it may not. I did a few tests yesterday, and it just depends on how thick you roll out the paint, right? So we'll see. Okay, so you see, this is just a cheap little Baron. So it's just for rubbing things down. I actually bought it to use on my stamp platform, which I really hardly ever use. So I probably, yeah, see, I'm okay to pick this up already, I think. Because it was so thin, it doesn't take long. I think this paper absorbs the moisture from the paint pretty quickly too. So I can already go ahead and pull this up, and I'm getting all the paint off of here, so it's nice and clean. I can see my music sheet. Look at that. Okay, so under 10 minutes and I already have 1 print done. So for sure, I should be getting 5, I think. Okay, so what do you think? So the patterns, yeah, the pattern's okay. I wouldn't say it's the best pattern, but it just shows you kind of one possibility. Okay, so let's do something else. So let's try some purple and pink this time. Oh, thanks, Ellie. Yeah, definitely tune in. You can speed it up if you're watching the replay. I'm just doing this live because a lot of people want to see how long things take. So this is a good chance for you to see live how long it actually takes. So like I said, the thinner your paint, the faster it's going to dry. So I'm not going to mix this one this time, although there's a lot of pink sitting there. Okay, so I'd said I have this new pattern mark maker, whatever, lint roller. So let's give this a try. So like I said, I haven't done this yet, so I have no idea. I've seen videos with similar. Oh, my brayer got in the way. So not bad. So if you let this wet layer sit a tiny bit, it gets a little bit tacky and then it comes off easier, but this is coming off nicely. I think the string, I think it's like a roll of twine for, oh, that one's not really spinning now. A roll of twine for like binding your turkey, you know, or chicken. Oh, I forgot to put my silent on. Let me just do that quickly. There we go. Yeah, so anyway, it's quite, I don't know, absorbent, I guess you would say. So that's giving me a fairly nice pattern. Debbie, that's a cool print. Love the colors. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, I dropped my hairdryer. Looking forward to getting gel print as soon as my new studio is finished. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I love doing this. Oh, hey, Jessica. Thanks for popping on. So again, just quickly, doesn't take much to dry this, especially this first layer, because it sat for a few minutes while I was playing with it. But just want to make sure that it's still a little bit tacky. So I'm just going to hit it again. Again, cool hairdryer, no heat. Do not use heat. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me over the hairdryer. Try not to say anything too important while I'm using the hairdryer. Sorry. Because there's still a lot of paint on here, I don't think I'm going to use a patterned paper again. So I'm going to so this is just regular printer paper. Just plain old printer paper, nothing special here. So I am going to put some background paint on here to pick that up. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit warm, of course, now. Just want to quickly roll my sleeves up. It's easier anyway to have them out of the way. Otherwise I'll end up with paint on them. It's happened before. Okay, so I think what I'll do is a little bit of an ombre. So we want a nice contrast. So we'll use some yellow and orange. So let's do that. So I'm not great at this ombre thing. It's not something that I've played with a lot, but I have done it a couple of times. I kind of start it and then I end up changing my mind and just mixing up the colors anyway, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, probably a little bit too much paint because now I've got a lot. Okay, so here we go again. Debbie said you used to use rubber bands. Yes, that's probably what I've seen online now that you mention it. But with the lint roller, it's just an easier shape to get them on and off, I think. So we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna, whoops, roll that off a little bit and then go back up here and see if that will blend a little bit. Yes, I like that. And I'm gonna, so because I'm removing that, when I go across, it's actually kind of picking up some paint. So again, I don't want it to be thick. I'm gonna get my paper on there while it's wet. I don't worry about squaring it up too much. I'm gonna cut the paper up most likely anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. And then just give that some nice even pressure. So the reason I'm not using this now, I was using my hand, which is fine. But I was doing one that I just posted this week, I think, with some fabric, and there was like a massive handprint on it. Now it was just kind of the technique that I was using, but I realized this just gives a much better even pressure. Oh yes, Debbie, before gel printing. Yeah, but I mean, all of those old techniques that people used to use, like for mark making on making funky prints, like work for this. It's pretty cool, all the stuff that you can do now with this. Okay, another little bit of air on there, because it feels like I can I can feel a little bit of dampness, so I just want to make sure. I think the rubbing helps to dry it too, right? Okay, let's see. I always just peek the corner just to make sure. And it's looking good. Maybe not the best color choice. It looks kind of neat. I'm still, I don't know. It's like I do understand the color wheel, but don't necessarily understand how my paints mix. But that's not too bad, eh? It looks kind of like a sunset. But you can see like the blobs, right? Because I didn't mix that pink and purple at the beginning. So you can see that there's kind of some blobs in the pink, which it's fine. Again, this is for me. This is background, right? A lot of people do the jelly printing because they're trying to make a piece of art. Not me. I'm just trying to make something and I'm going to use it somewhere else. Okay, so that's 2 and I'm only at 16 minutes after. So pretty quick stuff. Thanks, Debbie. Yeah, you definitely need to rewatch it when you're actually kind of got your stuff there and you can sit and play. I've watched a ton of videos and that's what's kind of helped me figure out what I want to do too. There's so many videos out there. But yeah, like all the videos that I've done, pretty much till now. I did a couple of lives. I am on the design team for Elizabeth Craft Designs. So I've done a couple of jelly printing on their page. But I didn't do like I was doing one specific thing, basically. So I wasn't showing a lot of different things. So I got a lot of the same questions. The biggest question is always how long do you let it dry? And it's very hard to answer that question. But I think the biggest thing is you're letting it dry depending on the thickness of your paint, most of all, right? So it's not about how long. It's just about making sure that that paint is dry. So I don't know what I'm just playing around doing another little ombre here this time for my first layer. I don't know what that's about. We'll see how that turns out. And then let's do a roller. So it needs to sit and dry a little bit. So maybe somebody can tell me which one do you want to see me try. I got leaves. I don't know what that is. I got a swirly floral. This is like an abstract. I tried this, you can see, and I thought it would look like stones, like patio stones, but I don't know. It looks just like an abstract. This one is pretty cool. It's I don't know, like Mediterranean inspired. Another swirl, and then this fun, like Christmas sweater type print. You know, words aren't always kind. Leaves. Debbie wants to see the leaves. Since you're the only one that's answered me so far, let's try the leaves. So this is a very fine one. It's going to leave a lot behind, and I just got some bits on here. So I'm going to be very, very careful trying not to push into my jelly plate because it is a little bit delicate, the surface, and I don't want to leave marks on there. Okay. I'm not sure if it's dry enough, but let's just give it a try, okay? So again, this time I'm waiting until it's a little bit drier because for it to lift up, it works better when it's a bit tacky. So once it's dry, it's not going to come up, but oh, this is working nicely. This is actually going to look good with these colors, I think. So I just got to pick the right background. So look at that. Isn't that cool? So these are just 3D printed. So if you know anybody with a 3D printer, I got them online. Look at that. So it does end up with a line down the middle on this one. They don't all have the line. Like that one doesn't have a line. This one doesn't have a line. So it just depends. Okay, so that one. And then I'm just going to give my hands a wipe. Now I do have to let that dry completely before I put my pickup layer on there. And you know what I might do? I was thinking I would do a nice metallic on there, but I did pull out this fun paper So I, again, thrift store, bought a book. It had some really neat images and stuff, but it has this really funky text. It's about Toronto, but I think that might look kind of neat with the text in the background. Thanks, Marie. So let's give that a try. So because I don't want to put another paint color on there, I have matte acrylic gel. So I just happen to have this. When I watch all the videos, they all say gel, clear gel, medium. I think it's basically the same thing. It's just terminology. I think. I know this was a lot harder to clean up than paint. So let's see. So I haven't used the hairdryer. That's dry. Because like it's very thin, right? So it doesn't take much. Now I don't remember. I haven't used this for a while. I don't remember how much I need. And it's going to come out really fast. Maybe it's clogged. What's going on? No, I think it's just there. It's pretty thick, I guess. Oh, that's a lot. I can put more on if I need it. So I don't want to put like a ton on here. I think that's enough. A little bit harder to see if you've got it spread out evenly, but can kind of see a bit of a glare, so I think I'm okay. Get that off of here and then go ahead and put this on. Okay, so let's see what this is going to look like now. I don't remember how long this gel medium took to dry. I don't think it was very long. This is going to be print number 3, and I'm just over 20 minutes. So you can get a lot done in an hour, right? Depends on your techniques. Like some of the techniques take a lot longer. What brand of acrylic is easy to work with, or do you use craft paints? Well, so I don't know if you would call them craft paints, but I've got Liquitex is probably my most expensive brand that I have. It's not very expensive. I get it at Michael's. And then I've got these Montmartre, which is at a, they're cheap. So I would consider this just a craft paint. I do have another version of it, which is a little bit better quality. These are premium ones. So just kind of, I had some, and so I was just using what I had, and then I've been picking up some as I go. Most of them do get semi-transparent, which is part of the reason why I think I struggle a bit with my colors, is because I have one color down first, and when I put the second color over it, because the first color is a little bit transparent, the contrast isn't there the same. It's more like it's blending with it. So if I had, I don't know, I hear people talking about different paints all the time, like a heavy body. Something that's more opaque would probably be better for a first layer. I hope that helps, makes a bit of sense. But I did, when I first started, I had some really cheap paints. They seem to work fine. Look, that's dry now. Oh, getting caught a little bit of my edges. I always have thick edges. Oh, I think this is going to look really cool. So like this, I would probably then take and put maybe in a junk journal, but I don't know. I have a whole pile of them and I haven't done a lot with them yet. I've used some. Oh, I like that. That was a great choice, Marie. That was a great choice. Or that was Debbie that said the leaves. Yeah, no problem, Marie. Definitely watch and give it a try. Yeah, that I really like that. Well, you got to do something else like that. That's pretty cool, right? That's, ooh, I really like that. I don't want to put it away. It's so pretty. Okay, so let's do something different. Pick some more colors. Let's do a red. What other colors have I got? We'll try this. Let's see what this looks like. Do we want to do an ombre again? The ombre was really cool looking. I think maybe we'll do that. I said I don't do that very often, but it's working pretty good today. Yeah, Debbie, it turned out nice, eh? Okay. Let's give this a try. I have a little bit of an idea. We'll try something. Gotta move that paint around. Hopefully I don't have too much paint on there. I got a little bit of extra paint hanging over there. Like I said, I actually cleaned the edges. This was the edge of my plate was just caked with paint. You just my words. You just use washi tape to pick it up. So if you have something on your plate like that and you want to get rid of it, you just use a bit of washi tape. Okay, I'm going to do this again and then see if that blends better. Pick up a bit of that extra. Still pretty heavy up there. So you got to remember, whatever's on the bottom is what's going to be on the top of your print, right? So even though I put a bit of red on there, probably won't see it. Probably. Like I said, it's a bit transparent, so you never know. Okay, so let's just play around. Let's use this feather trim. I'm debating, do I want to keep the, we'll go like that. Okay, and we're going to put it at the bottom as well. And then I'm going to take my bubble wrap and I'm going to put it in the middle. Okay, and then I need a scrap piece. Whoops. Everything's very tight here, trying to maximize the space on my little desk. Okay, so now I'm using this because I don't want to get paint all over my hands, but we're going to give that a good amount of pressure. See if we can get some nice feathery print on there. See, what do we got going? Yeah, it looks not bad. You can see what kind of paint is left, and then the longer I leave it, the more paint is going to pick up. So let's see. So you don't see a lot there, but once I get it picked up, you might see it better. Okay, so then that's just scrap. I can use that to pull something out of the way. Oh, stick my finger right in it. That's not good. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use the clear medium again because that looked really neat. So again, I've got another one. I think that'll be neat on this one. But let's dry it a tiny bit. So we just want to get it dry. Should be good. And like, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but I can see little bits that still look a bit wet because the paint will change sheen. It's not really changing color, but you can kind of see it dry. If you have more paint on there and it's quite wet and you put the hairdryer on it, you really see it change when it's drying. Okay. It's like a sunset here. Yes, and that it is kind of neat, eh? That worked quite well. Okay, so let's see if this is going to look as cool as those leaves did. Yeah, it's hard to get that stuff out of there. Okay, let's go. Get that spread around. Make sure I've got it all covered. Okay, that looks good. Okay, get my paper. I don't know, it might look neat putting it on that too. Okay, I don't know, I think this one's gonna look pretty neat. Okay, feels pretty good. And I just got to give that a little bit of time to dry. So one of the other things about the drying is this paper, right? You can hear that? It's thicker, right? I typically use printer paper, which is very thin. So because it's thicker, the air is not getting to it as easily. So it will tend to take longer if you have thicker paper. The thinner your paper, the faster it will dry. The thinner your paint, the faster it will dry. So lots of factors in how long these take. So just to be sure, I'm just going to get a bit of air on that just to help it along. But I do find when I'm doing this, it usually is pretty quick. Okay, let's see what we got. I think it's pretty cool. You can really see the text on this one. There we go. So, not as pretty as the leaves, at least that's my opinion, but it's kind of cool, eh? I think it would still make a really neat background. See? Okay, so there we go. That's, what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4 already, right? I should, there. I've just got them setting beside me here, but I have a pile that I did yesterday, so I don't want to mix them up because I want to get a count when I'm done. Okay, so what else should we try? Let's try something with a light on top. Ooh, there's a big blob on there. There we go. Get rid of that. Oh, now there's paint all over me. Now I am covered in paint. A little bit more. And then think of something different to do. So one of the kind of ideas for buying this book was to see if I could get a print off of it. But like an image transfer. So that's very popular with Gelli printing. I'm no good at that. I'm gonna eventually try it a bit more. I do have some ideas that I want to try with that, but I just haven't had a chance to do that. Sorry, I'm just reaching over. I've got a little stack of things to try. Some of my favorite things. So I have lots of circles, but I really love the way these circles. Oh, I know what I pulled out. No, I can't see it here. Sorry, I'm going to try something. I don't think these are the right colors though. We're going to try a stencil after. So this is kind of like a stencil. So let's just do this. I just love these. So I had a card kit and I had to punch out all these circles, and I did it over 2 days. So I had cut the sheet, and afterwards I realized I should have kept it whole because I decided to keep it. Let's use this one. So this is like the insert in a chocolate box, like a box of pot of gold. And I peeled the backing off one side. And I really love the pattern it has. So that didn't get it great there. Kind of missed. So that's where the Baron kind of helps get you the right pressure. And also this paint, I think I put it on a little bit too thick. So it's not tacky enough yet to pull up. But that's okay. Because I don't know if I should do that again. I think I'm just gonna do that. Oh, over here. There we go, that's good. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull this up now. Yep. So it pulled up most of that paint, but not all of it. And I think we should do something dark on here. So let's try, we're gonna try the bronze again. Did I use the bronze? Yeah, at the beginning, but we're gonna try that again. But this is still wet, so let's hit this with a bit of air. Oh, it needs some bees. That would be a good one to use for, I do have, I have a lot of stuff. I have lots of bee die cuts and stamps and things like that. So yes, these would be good for adding to it. Okay. Oh, it's pretty dry already. So you can see it really doesn't take long. Okay. Hope this is gonna look really neat with these two colors. Very kind of simple. So this one we'll just do on printer paper again. Oh, I should have pulled out. I have this funky paper. Well, it's not paper. It's actually player piano roll. I forgot about that. I should have pulled that out. And I printed on it once and only once. And I'm like, oh, I gotta remember and do that, but it's like way in another room. Okay, so let's try this with just a plain printer paper and let's see how this one looks. Okay. So Debbie, do you have a jelly plate of your own? Is this something that you've tried before? It's, I don't even remember what really inspired me to get it. They can be a bit of an investment, but if you have a Michael's nearby and you have a coupon, although I don't even know if Michael's has them anymore because they're getting rid of so much stuff. Okay, so again, it's very thin, so I can feel like a little bit of dampness there. So just get it a bit of air. No heat, just air. And I think I'm good already. Yeah, look, it's coming up fine. So like I said, you just peel a little bit the corners to get you going, just to see, oh, that is not looking like I was hoping. It's kind of cool, but I was hoping that that background would be darker. So it's kind of neat. Paint's just not as dark as I guess I was thinking it would be. But if I had left the white circle cut out, if I had left this on a little bit longer, then it would have pulled up more of that cream color. So what is it? Titanium. Unbleached titanium. So you can see, because there's lots of that still there. So that's kind of affecting the color. So let's do another one and just see if we can, because again, this is just about kind of playing and learning. So I'm going to do basically the exact same thing. Probably put too much on there again. That's what I ended up with, a messy paint bottle. Okay. So spread that out. Probably too much. Get some of that off. Because it will just take longer if I have too much paint on there. Okay, spread it out evenly so you can, I don't know, can you see? Like it's actually changing colors as I'm rolling because it's pulling some up. So you can see kind of in between, you can kind of see through. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that back down. Then we're going to put this one back down. Whoops. Gotta get that lined up. There we go. And then this time, if I can grab it, I'm just going to use this cardboard. So again, just cardboard, and I peeled the backing off one side. So I want to get some really good pressure on here to make sure that I get the marks from this, but also that my circles are pushed down really hard, right? Because I've just set it down gently and there's no pressure on it until I put this on. Okay. Let's see. So, gave me some lines. We'll see what that looks like. But let's just do this. Whoops. Just to make sure, because then it's going to peel up all of that white. Or hopefully all of it. And then it will give me maybe more of a contrast. So I see some more people popping in and out. If you have any questions, just let me know. So Debbie, you bought chocolate sheet in there. Oh, you're that's a good idea. I just got a little hanging thing. So mine are all actually hanging on a wall. So I can see them all now. I had them in this little drawer thing. I did a little video of a hack. Hopefully you can hear me over this. I picked up a Keurig coffee pod holder, and I pulled the drawer part out, and then I bought one of these at the Dollar Tree. and I slid it in. So I initially had them in this, but I bought too many and they wouldn't all fit. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so you can see, I think, like there's still some little bits, but it picked up almost all of that cream. Almost all of it. So where did my, there it is. So let's try this again and just see if we can notice a difference. Am I nice and dry, right? Yeah. So get some of this bronze out. And again, I do thin it out a lot, so maybe I'll even put a bit more on and keep it a bit thicker. It will take a bit longer to dry this way, but it will give it more of a solid color, I think. So you can see it's a lot thicker this time. Just try and even it out. The more I go over it, it tends to pull it off. Okay, so there we go. Do not leave my brayer upside down. Fix it. There we go. Okay. Grab a sheet of paper. Okay, and we'll lay that down. There we go. Okay, give that a really good rub. Yeah, the lines I think will look kind of neat once we pull this up. Could have gone on an angle too. I just wanted to make sure I had something to get lots of pressure on there. So with those circles, anyway, if you followed me at all, if you look, I have loads and loads of videos using those circles because I was obsessed with them. One of the things that I like to do with the circles is take my stamps, my acrylic stamps, and I stamp a pattern inside the circles. And I really like the way those look, especially if I do a text inside the circles. I have some Tim Holtz stamps that I think I've had for quite a long time. I had never used them, but that's what they're for. They're a mirror image, so you can put them on something and then when you flip it over, they're the right way. So I finally got to use those. I'm just going because this is quite damp. So we're just gonna make sure that it's dry before we pull that one up. You can almost, like, the paper starts to wrinkle a little bit. Because it's quite damp. So how does that feel? Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, so I think we're getting a bit of a difference. So we'll compare the two. My edges are getting thick. Still thought it would be more brown, but that's just the way the color is. Okay, here we go. So there is the one that we just did. So definitely, I would say it looks a little bit better. Like the bronze is showing through more, right, than this one. This one is showing way more. So it looks kind of neat with the lines. And it's like haloed around it a bit too, right? Like the line is not solid. So it just totally looks almost 3D. So there we go. So that just shows you a little bit of a difference in your techniques. Okay, so it is 1:45, so I'm going to go for 15 more minutes. So let's think of something else to do. Maybe try a different color. I've got a green and a green. Let's maybe play around with the green. Maybe I'll do another roller. So this is something, the second one is really cool. Yeah, Debbie, I do think that it made a big difference leaving it longer. So let's try something a little bit different with the colors instead of mixing them together. Let's try, oh, there's too much on there, I guess. Well, we'll see how it looks. Never tried this before. Like I see all the time, but people usually have smaller rollers and they put different colors on their plate and just roll them. So just experimenting, we'll see what happens. So I did one with this yesterday. This actually came out really cool. So let's do that again. but it's wet, so I need to let it dry a little bit. I'm also think I'm going to maybe roll it. I don't know if I can roll it sideways and not make it wonky. So I don't want to do that for too long, because if I do it for too long, then it won't work. But if I don't do it long enough, then it doesn't show up as well. So I want to make sure that it's tacky. Okay, we're gonna, I feel like I put a lot of paint on there, a little bit more. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go this way because, is it working? It looks like it's good. Yeah, it's looking good. I am putting quite a bit of pressure on, so you probably can't like tell how much pressure I'm putting it on it, but I am putting a fair amount of pressure on it just to make sure that I pick up all of the paint. So still getting kind of a little bit of a line, but I think it's because I was maybe overlapping too much. There we go. It didn't pick up as much there. I'm just gonna go like that. All right, that's really, ooh, it's messy though. That's why I have a wet cloth here, so I can clean that up. So I probably should have waited a little bit longer. I don't think it's going to be as crisp as I thought. That's okay. I'm going to use the gold under this one. The gold, I think, is probably my favorite. As long as I have a dark enough color. It looks pretty cool. My hands are wet. But I still got to make sure this is dry, and I don't think it's dry yet. Yes, the textile, it's a really cool one, this one, right? The textile. That's the right word. I couldn't think of the right word earlier. It just makes me think of ugly Christmas sweater. Okay, how are we doing? Just look where it's thick. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so like I said, I've got gold. So this is a fairly light color. So let's give that a try with this. I think that will look really good. Most of this has just been trial and error for me. I have, you know, done quite a few that I was not happy with. But at the same time, they still, like a lot of times they still make a really great background. Or if you're, you know, you got die cuts, you can just die cut shapes out of the prints that you're not fond of. I mean, certainly my intention isn't for it to stay as it is, right? Okay. So we'll just use the plain printer paper for this one again. Get that on there. Because even if I'm going to use it as my background paper, it's going to be covered up a lot. Like, you know, a fair amount. Depends. Depends how pretty the print is. How much I want to cover it up. I'll show you after. I have one sample of something I've made handy. I don't think I have anything else handy of what I've done with my jelly prints. Oh, I might have my junk journal there though. Just to show you kind of what to do with these after. I mean, part of the fun is just the creating of it, but you know, once you got a stack like this, it's nice to do something with them too. Yeah, I get it. That was a little too soon. Give that another minute. And while I'm waiting for that, I will show you. Let me find something here. This. Sorry, dropping things. Okay. So this is one thing that I did. So I did this one live. This is a very different technique, very time consuming, but beautiful. So that's one of them. Actually, these are all jelly prints. So this is what I said about the circles. So this is one of the stamps that's not the Tim Holtz one. So this is Elizabeth Craft. So it's backwards, but whatever. You can't read it. It's not legible. And then this one I really love this. This is a stencil. That one, yeah. This is like maybe my second time ever making a jelly print, so I didn't know what I was doing, and my paint was very thin and cheap, and the plate was really new, so it was just blooming. It wouldn't stay on. And then there's that same technique again, but with the printed, it's the same paper behind it. Yeah, so that's one thing that I've done with them. And I can't remember if I put any in this junk journal. So this is just a little tiny junk journal. This was my first experiment at making a junk journal. So I put a bunch of different papers in, but I have a few of my jelly prints in there. That's the same one. And then this one, so this one I did more of my jelly prints in here. So that one, whoops, there's one. So these ones I was doing on, this is cardstock. These are double-sided. So that was a very early one too, experimenting. And that's why I was just like learning how things would work. I think that's the actual first one I ever did. Yeah, so like you just can, and then, you know, those will be covered, right? Like, right? So you see it, but you don't see it all, and you just play with it. So that, anyway, that's just a couple of things that I've done to use up my jelly prints. Okay, this should be good now. Oh, don't tell me I've frozen again. This happened to me the last time. Oh, mop sink outside your studio door. That would be great. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I don't have that. So I have to be careful. Okay, so this is looking good. I might have missed a little bit where I pulled that up that first time. A couple spots are sticking. Oh, not bad. Ooh. So, came out okay, but here I'll explain to you. So, definitely I should have waited before I used it. I should have waited a little bit longer. You can see this was the last bit that I was rolling, so you can see the gold a lot better, or the paint was just thicker, so it wasn't as dry down there, the big blob of the dark green. But again, it's a background, so I'm happy with it. You can still see the pattern. The pattern looks really cool. And it's just really blurry. Yeah, I don't know. This happened to me at the end of my live, and then Facebook cut me off. So I am sorry that this is freezing. I don't know if you can still hear me. Can I? Sorry, I'm just turning that up. Let me get a little sip. It's really delayed. I really wanted to show you all of the, I want to show you how many prints we made. It's 5 to 2, so I think we'll make that the last one. Yeah, it's like totally freezing up. So, anyway, I will take pictures of them all. It's like I get to the end of the video and Facebook just says I'm done. It doesn't want to show anymore. There's nobody at home, so I can't like blame anybody. I'm here and nobody else is using my internet, so I don't know why it would be all messed up now. Ding. You can hear, but everything is blurry. I know, isn't that awful? So it's saying that I know. What is going on? Holy cow. It just, here? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Maybe my computer's done. I don't know why it would be doing this. Anyway, thank you for joining. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, 7. 7 jelly prints, and they look like they're a little bit clearer on that camera. Anyway, I'll post some pictures of them all. Thanks so much. Have a great day.